To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Okay, so we're back at the tiny house build again today, and I'm going to continue the installation of the shower. So yesterday you saw that I got the base down. I was able to drill a hole in the floor for the drain, and I got a drain going through the floor. And of course I don't have all the plumbing outside completed yet. So today I'm just going to follow the instructions and build the walls to the kit here. It doesn't seem complicated. I don't know. It looks like you got to have more hands than two sometimes, but they even tell you put your left hand here and your right foot over here. And so Carolyn decided yesterday that we are going to go ahead and buy the bed. So we bought the bed off Amazon. It's on its way, and they shipped it yesterday. So we're really starting to analyze what it is that we need to do with the heating situation. The forecast sounds to me like it's going to get colder in February than it is in January, which is actually kind of odd, but there's this vortex thing happening and the scientists think it's going to get colder. I think we can survive it in the camper. I don't think we'll have any issues if we were to stay in the camper. The problem is we're running out of firewood. So we're trying to analyze what it is we want to do. Do we want to switch over to propane and pay the cost of propane? Well, when it gets colder, that means we're going to have higher propane costs. So I was expecting 60 bucks at the most in propane cost, but if it gets cold, we might be up to $125, $150 in propane cost, trying to heat that thinly insulated camper. And we're getting close with the house being completed. We got to lay the floor down. I got to run electric, which is not a big deal. The electric isn't going to be hard. I got to bring the water tank up here. Most of that is already done. I have all the components I need. I just need to drain it out and drag it up here and run the hose through the ventilation duct work I've already got laid out. So that's, I would say the tank, the water is 80% complete. And I think everything's done. But we don't have dry firewood to live in here. That's been the big problem where we're gonna wait till spring. Our firewood is 6 months old. The instructions on this stove are very, very clear that it has to be a year old after you cut it, and it has to test below 20% moisture content. And boy, the instructions are spot on. We don't have a lot now. I mean, we're really getting down to the bare minimum. We had some firewood that tested below 20%, and it burned great in here. But as soon as you put any firewood, just even above 20%, 21, I don't have anything at 20. I got 21, I got 26, 25. It just dies. It just goes out. It doesn't run. So we don't have enough to run the heat down in the camper, and we don't have any to heat up here. So we've been going back and forth about what we want to do. Well, we said, okay, let's buy some firewood. Now, I would prefer going and looking at the firewood before we bought it. And that way I could test it and make sure it's good. But any place that I can do that at either doesn't have any right now, or like the guy we visited yesterday, it's only a month old. I mean, there's no way we could use that. So here's my big problem is I'd rather not have a guy just deliver it and I have to take it. I feel obligated to take it, whether it was dried or not. He loaded up his truck, he brought it out here, and then I test it and say, oh no, it's not below 20%. But that is exactly what we're getting ready to do. Yesterday, Carolyn called a guy, $175 for a full cord. He says it's a year old. I would like to be able to trust that it's a year old. I really would. That gives it a high probability that it'll be below 20%. So Carolyn and I discussed it. What if it's not below 20%? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna tell the guy to go away? Again, you know, I'm not a people person. I'm really not, but I don't want to cause conflict either. I mean, that's probably why I'm not a people person. It seems like anytime I do something, it causes conflict with people. I don't know, maybe because I'm not a people person. What we decided is we'll go ahead and call him. He'll bring it out. We don't even have to test it while he's out here. We just accept it. And if it's no good, then we'll stack it down there and we'll use it for next year. And we'll just continue searching for firewood that we'll be able to use in this. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It wouldn't have to be a full cord, I don't think. A truckload, maybe 2. would suffice us. So we could continue our search. And then that we just bought will dry by next year and we'd have plenty. And then I wouldn't have to cut into the woods. I really don't want to buy it since we have so much firewood. I mean, I got, what, 6 cords down there already. It's going to last us a long time, and then when I buy another cord, that'll take us almost, what, 7 years if we use a cord a year. And we wouldn't have to touch the woods at that point. That'd be great. Also, during that time, of course, we'll continue looking for people who have downed trees. My point is buying the firewood isn't something I want to do so I could use it next year, but it's not the end of the world. But we got to do something. We got to find some wood. So it really has come down to, we're just out of options with my summertime plan. The Franklin wood stove, everybody knows, I've been quite honest about it, just used a lot more firewood than I expected. This just nibbles on the firewood. It lasts forever up here, but it's got to be dry. The Franklin, it doesn't care what it is. It can be soaking wet. It'll burn it. So today I'm going to continue working on the shower. And I think once the shower is installed, I'm going to go ahead and start moving things up here. At some point, maybe this weekend or next week, get the tank up here, get the water heater, the on-demand water heater up here, get it all hooked up. And then we'll just come up here to take our showers and do our dishes up here. That way I can, heat the tank, and we'll always have water. Right now, we don't always have water because it can freeze up. But up here, we'd always have water because we can keep it thawed out. Okay, so there's a little lip that you got to put the panel in right along here. And they say that you're supposed to be able to just snap it in and then tap the back of it with a hammer. That's dang near impossible, doing it by yourself. So I'm just tapping it from the top and pushing it down. So the instructions clearly show one person putting this shower together. That is impossible. There's not enough hands to do it like the instructions or the way I was doing it, which was just beating it on the floor. That didn't work at all. Got about halfway down and just stopped. So you got to hold it up. You got to jab this little corner piece inside there. And then you're supposed to take a hammer when you get 10 inches down and start tapping it. Well, you got to hold both pieces and then tap. So Carolyn had to come up and help me. That is an absolutely 2-person job. So once again, now I'm down to 2 jobs that I've had to have 2 people with. Ta-da! Sorry I could not show you the assembly of this, but Carolyn was up here. Of course, Carolyn doesn't get on camera. We all know that with her social anxiety. So I'm very disappointed I was unable to do this by myself, but there's just, like for example, you have to have one person inside holding this handle and a nut underneath it, and a person on the outside screwing the screw through it. So that's just an example. You had to have 2 people to do it. They give you hardware, but they don't give you all the hardware. So like right here, they gave me the screw right here, but no nut. So you just stick it in. See, it falls right out. So I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store and pick up some more screws and nuts. It's a sad state when you feel like you spent a large sum of money on a shower or anything, and you don't even get the components you're supposed to get. So to kind of give you the layout, so there's the door, and right here is the entry to the shower. And I am sure somebody is going to complain about that. But remember, this is a tiny house. This is just the way we're going to set it up. You have to think small in a minimalistic lifestyle. We can open the door. And it's like Carolyn said, well, the only time you ever have to open the door all the way up is if you're going to bring in big furniture. Well, we're not going to bring in big furniture because we live in a tiny house. There's nothing big that can go in the house. So back here, we'll have our little spare closet. Now, really, it's not going to be much of a closet. We might be able to get a shelf in here for towels. And of course, we can hang our clothes up over here also. The propane tank's going to go down in here. The plumbing's going to come out of the pipe. Of course, we're going to have a fan in there. There's going to be a battery in here to run the RV pump. Now, the On-demand water heater, I know a lot of people don't know what that is, but just go to Google, you'll understand what it is. It's a little bitty thing that we're gonna hang right here. It's a rectangle, it'll probably come down to about right here. And it has a water hose that comes up, an RV water hose. You plug in, you screw into the tank. You have a propane tank that screws into it. You open the water, so the water turns on, and it's got a little sprayer, and you spray yourself with hot water. And it has a little thermostat on here that you can dial it down or turn it up. We got a really good one. I mean, a really good one. It's a Mary or Moray. We've had almost frozen water in our tank. There'll be ice on the top of the tank, and we can get water to go through the hose. It heats it up just fine. I mean, just fine. So I hope I can inspire you to start finishing your dream. Thanks for watching.